Okay, hello. Actually, pause that. I just realized I've got the wrong description up on the Twitch description stream here. We are not going to talk about Gen Con. That was last time. And then I was gone for a week or two, and that's what we're going to talk about. So yeah, I'm not sure I can update the description now at this point. I think it may just be late, so I'm sorry. But yeah, so tonight is officially a create-in. Hi, it's Tuesday. I'm Laura. Thanks. Okay, so tonight is officially a create-in by the schedule. And I am going to be working on some things tonight. Hopefully you can bring some projects to work on as well. But I wanted to talk very briefly about where I was last week, which is why I was not streaming, which I went to Edinburgh for the Fringe. So if you're in a certain set of nerddom, you just immediately got very excited. And if you are not a theater kid, oh, hello, Sarah. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, if you are not a nerdy theater kid, the Fringe Festival, began in Edinburgh 75 years ago. I didn't realize this was the 75th anniversary year, but it is. And it is basically a place, I'm going to summarize it poorly, for experimental theater. An experimental probably isn't the fair word to use. It's where shows can get started. It's where smaller groups can try to do something a little bit different. I cannot even express to you how insanely theatrical this thing is. So my luggage didn't make it back with me for a variety of reasons. It wasn't lost. I went through 4 itineraries yesterday, and including jumping on a plane about 10 minutes before departure. And there was just no way that my luggage could stay with me to keep up. But I wanted to show you, I will share it later, the catalog for the Fringe, which is listing only official productions because, it's, I think the joke is basically if there's an open patch of turf that's not being used, somebody will start a play or a monologue or something in it. And that's not inaccurate. But only the official productions were, I think, about 2,300 shows that week. So yeah, there are literally hundreds. Every room in the city basically turns into a theater. And we went to shows that had hundreds of seats in large auditoriums, and we were at shows that sat maybe 20 people. So, it's a complete range. We saw one-man shows, one-person shows, I guess, because they weren't all men. I don't know. Improv groups, like actual staged productions, with formal scripts as opposed to improv kind of thing. Just all kinds of stuff. I think the most we saw was 4 shows in a day. Anyway, it was just a great theater nerd trip, and I will be putting photos and such, maybe a little bit of video. Obviously, I didn't take video illegally of the shows. No, I'm not that person. But there's other stuff to share. And that will go first on my Patreon and then on my blog to share that. And yeah, so it was really, really fun. Technically, we went for the Fringe, but it was really sort of a mischief tour because the Mischief Theater Troupe, if you're not familiar with them, they are behind The Play That Goes Wrong and The Show That Goes Wrong and a bunch of other things. And we saw a lot of mischief or shows that included mischief personnel with them. So like one of the shows we saw was one person show, Charlie Russell Aims to Please, and it featured Charlie Russell. She is really fun and is a member of the Mischief Troop. And for those of you who are going, well, who's the Mischief Troop, and why are you nerding out about it? Hey, so you might remember back in the spring. Let's go even further back than that. Let's go all the way back in the spring to I was supposed to take a trip to Europe to visit Italy and a lot of historical sites that I was super excited about, and had been planning for literally over 2 years. Had originally booked this trip, I believe, in 2019 to go in 2020. 2020, kind of 2020 all over the place. And, so things kept getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And then in spring of 2022, my husband and my family and friend and everybody, we all embarked upon this trip. And my husband and I got COVID on the trip, which was terrible, but also great. Great in that it is an incredibly mild case of COVID. I sneezed a few times and I had a sore throat for a couple of days, and that was it. He had a slightly, more runny nose, and that was it. And neither of us ever ran a fever or anything. So, honestly, extremely grateful. If we were going to have COVID, that was absolutely the way to have it. So I'm very grateful of that, vaccinated, boosted, all the things. Yeah. But that meant we spent, because of a confluence of overlapping COVID protocols and rules and disputes over whose regulations were in effect where and all of that, we ended up spending, I think, 12 days in isolation on our Italy trip. Yeah, so that was less cool. And so I spent one whole day in Italy seeing things. So then, fast forward a few weeks, I flew home. That was exciting. And I was going back to Europe for a writing conference. So I was going to be in Spain for the 20 Books conference, which I had already booked, long ago. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to see this. I'm 3 weeks out from COVID, so I'm fine. Immunity, all of that. Let's go. And a friend happened to mention that Mischief was getting together in England to, oh my gosh, what's the word when they bring back a show? Do a revival. Thank you. Of the play that goes wrong with the original cast in Newcastle. And I was like, oh, that's really, wouldn't it be fun if we could go? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm already in Spain and I could just meet you guys there because, it's just a little hop across, the channel and it'd be fine. Hey, I could do that. And so I booked a flight to fly as soon as my conference was done. I flew from Madrid to London, caught a train, went up to Newcastle, and saw the play that goes wrong with the original cast twice. So when I say that Mischief is a good troupe worth seeing, I mean it. I back it because that's what I did. Is I just literally flew to England for the sole purpose of seeing that show. So yeah, it was really, really good. So anyway, so at the Fringe, we saw, again, as I said, several things with Mischief, either Mischief Productions or with Mischief personnel in the productions. And the joke that we have, which is backed by statistics, if not science, is that I'm probably responsible for a lot of fires or something, because I tend to be in places where fire alarms or other emergencies happen more often than the average person. I have been in a number of hotel fires, not just accidentally somebody set off the alarm with, a bag of microwave popcorn or something. That happens too. But like legitimately actual hotel fires with things actually on fire. This is something that for most people would be a once in a lifetime experience, or more likely never. And it has happened to me a half dozen times. So convention centers, one airport, a train station, like this happens a lot. So, frequently people make jokes about Laura needs to work on her deep breathing because when she gets upset, things around her catch fire. Usually not the thing I'm mad at, just something, generally in the area. Ooh, forgot to mute my phone. I'm sorry. Let me do that. So anyway, we're minding our own business. Sorry, I should back up. I saw the show twice in Newcastle, The Play That Goes Wrong. I saw the show twice in Newcastle. And the first time was the day I flew in, and it was great. I picked up a bonus seat. I didn't have a ticket for that show because I wasn't certain I would be in time. But I picked up a bonus ticket, second row, so I could see. It's an extremely technical show, and I could see all the things I wanted to see, and it was fantastic. And the second night, I had purchased my ticket in advance and had a seat further back. And the second night, the show had to be stopped mid-scene, and actually a really odd place to stop the show. If you're familiar with the show, it's the scene where our police inspector is looking for the ledger. If you haven't seen the show, just, it's a pivotal scene. If you have seen the show, it's it's a very rowdy scene. There's like, it goes into panto for a minute with audience interaction and all this stuff. And a stage tech walks on and just goes over to speak to Henry Fields, and because I had seen the show and because I know the show, I was like, that's not one of the crew. That's not one of the, that's one of the crew. That's not one of the crew, if that makes sense. It's not one of the actors. This is an actual stage tech who's coming on, so something is actually wrong. And indeed, they go over and they speak to him, and then he's just like, comes up with some ad lib and stalks off the stage, and the stage is empty. And that's not how the show goes. And the moment comes on, and hey, we're going to pause the show. Please stay in your seats. And of course, immediately everybody gets up and goes buys ice cream, because that's how people work. And the scuttlebutt, the rumors that came around was that someone had a medical emergency, which is a completely valid reason to stop the show, like get that person help and get them out and everything. I have no idea if that was true or not. Never got any details because I stayed in my seat and waited. But anyway, so that had happened, and but I had seen the show complete, and they came up and picked it up, and he ad-libbed and came back in, and everything was fine. So then fast forward to the Fringe, and we are seeing a oh gosh, I don't remember if it's actually Mischief. I don't think it's actually Mischief. It just had a lot of Mischief people in it. Or it might actually be Mischief. I don't know. But Starship Improvise, where a definitely not Star Trek crew is improvising a new episode, every day. And it's taking audience suggestions. It's a really fun show. We actually saw that one twice. Had tickets the first time, bought tickets to go back and fill in a gap for a second showing. Anyway, on the first time seeing it, we are probably two-thirds of the way through the episode, and this alarm starts going off, while people are talking, and the whole thing takes place on a starship. There's sound effects, that everything, and everybody in the room thought it was a sound effect thrown in by the sound effects guy, including the cast, who made a joke about something, and then kept going, oh, it seems like we don't have much time to finish discussing this thing, whatever, and they kept talking, and we just kind of kept going, and but then the cast was kind of like, that's the people who were on the side who were not in the scene, were kind of like, that's not right, and then a crew, facility crew, tech came in and was like, yeah, that's a fire alarm, everybody get out. So we had to evacuate. So we're like, oh no, we're this Fringe runs, as I said, there's well over 2,000 shows, packed into about 300 theaters or 300 venues. So, you don't get to just have the leisure of coming back and finishing whenever, because there's another show starting in that venue in 25 minutes or something. So, there's literally minutes between shows. They are just turning stuff over fast. Which actually was really fun on its own, because you could see how many of the shows, had built rapidly collapsing sets. They could just, snap stuff down, get it into their allotted storage space while somebody else set something up, and then boom, let's go. Seeker says, Laura caused problems. Yeah. Anyway, so we're evacuating. We're all standing. And at first we kind of pause outside the theater, like, can we see, like, if they just quickly identify that somebody has burned a bag of microwave popcorn, we can go back in or something. And they're like, no, get out. So we end up quite a ways down the street, under an underpass, around the corner, and picture whatever extremely packed festival you have seen, and that's what this is like. It was densely packed. And so we're kind of like, oh, I guess, there's not a chance we're going to get back in there and finish the show, because, even the next show is going to be delayed because they have to clear the building and, check everything out and all of that. So we're all just, standing out there killing time. And after about 15 minutes, there's some, gathering and shouting, and the cast has found a little area, which is basically there's a construction fence and then a little nook in the construction fence where it's just set back because that provides the gate for them to be able to open the gate and get in. And they're like, hey, there's a space. We're going to finish our show. So we all crowd around and they are improvising the end of their improvised show in this little space while we're all crowded through the space. People are walking past because it's a thoroughfare, right? And a lot of people are there who didn't see the beginning of the show. So they do this really quick recap. And then, but this is hilarious because people next to me are like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm like, it's comedy improv. You don't need to understand. Like, honestly, it's not going to make a lot of sense. Anyway, this is part of the fun. But while they're doing their improvised thing, and it's this fantastic Star Trek-esque plot on the theme of loneliness about a character who, it's his birthday, and that's when the planet, which is actually a sentient planet, has created a copy of his mother to lure him down. So there's just like so many things. Hey, thank you, new follower. Almost as Ghost Lunatic. Hi there. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, so they're improvising all of this, and while all this improv is going on, in this new space and other things and no props and all that stuff, the gate behind them is actually being used because it is an active construction site. So workers keep coming through in and out, and some of them just walk right on through, like whatever, and some of them stop and they're like, clearly a show is going on, and they salute the captain or any of the things that are going on. And so anyway, it was just hilarious because the cast is adapting on the fly to the character whose mother has been created by the planet, and he's just like, why do all the people in my life keep walking away from me? Because the thing is, her mom's like, I don't know who your father was, I just know he wore high vis, which is UK speak for the high visibility vests and helmets and PPE and all of that. Anyway, it was just really hilarious, and it was great that we finished the show in the street because the thing had to be evacuated. And so that was one more thing ticking off on my places I have been that had to be evacuated. And so my sister and my friend Mark, who were with me, were laughing. They're like, okay, Laura, you need to calm down. All of this, it's probably your fault again, blah, blah, blah. And then that was funny. Okay. And then the next day we went to another show, which I need to mention, Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World. It's a new show. It's from the same team that brought you Six. If you are not familiar with Six, that is your homework. Six is a rock concert history musical about the wives of Henry VIII. And it's very good, and I recommend seeing it if you get a chance. You can also pick up the soundtrack, which is on lots of streaming services. You can buy it from Amazon and other places, wherever your fine music is sold. And what was I saying? Anyway, Six is really good. You'll get more out of the show than the soundtrack by itself, but of course you understand how that works because it's not a complete show. Anyway, Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World is the new show from that same team, and it was really good. Fun set, fun show, catchy music. We're like 2 songs in, and I already know I'm going to buy the soundtrack. All of this stuff, and then suddenly the show stops. All the actors exit the stage. Tech guy comes on. He's like, I'm sorry, we need to pause the show for safety reasons. Please remain. I'm like, it's not me. I swear it's not me. But yeah, I was really glad we saw so many shows last week, simply because it changed the ratio of the extremely high percentage of stopped shows that I had been in for the last year. So anyway, all that to say, yeah, so that's where I was last week. That's why I wasn't streaming, as I was in a show that may or may not have been on fire. By the way, they came back, they did restart the show, everything was fine. So we still don't know what we have guesses, just from theatrical nerdery perspectives. There was probably something techie in the heavens, but I don't know. But anyway, we don't have details. We don't need them. That's fine. It worked. So yeah. Then the other thing that we did was not technically part of Fringe, but while we were in Edinburgh, we did pick up the military tattoo, which was a lot of fun. And I'd never seen, I mean, you've seen like the occasional clip, bagpipes doing Scotland the Brave or whatever. But overall, it was quite a good show. And maybe 90 minutes. I don't know. I didn't time it, but lots of, obviously the pipes and drums, which are required by law. But also a lot, it was very international. We had music groups and bands in from Mexico and New Zealand. And, I better not try to list them because I'll leave somebody out and they'll get in trouble. But lots of flash, especially the Mexico groups, killed it with the costumes. They had an entire group of dozens and dozens of pre-Columbian costumes and dance, and then an entire group of monarch butterflies, and an entire group. I mean, they just killed it with the costumes and the dance. Top secret drum corps, which I believe is Swiss, and I'm really apologize if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're Swiss. And so you may have heard of them. They've been around, and anyway, lots of very well done stuff. New Zealand, Kiwis, we need to talk. They did hate, I Delilah, I Delilah, right? You've definitely heard that, somewhere in your past. And so they did that, and then they switched into, oh gosh, what was the next song? Something much more traditional. And then immediately went into the time warp. The time warp at the military tattoo. Kiwis, I love you. Keep doing things. I know, monarch butterfly costumes, they were beautiful. They were such good dance things. And then of course we had so many, 50 or so Highland dancers and, everything. It was a really good show. So I will have some clips of that. Again, stuff going first on my Patreon, then on my blog. And yeah. And I'm sorry, tonight was supposed to be a create-in, but apparently it's story time and travelogue. So yeah, we can do that. Yeah, and so any questions, I guess, before we jump into create-in? Everybody bring a project to work on. And I need to get organized a little bit here. I had to reboot my computer just before starting streaming because my sound was all super weird. So let me see if I can actually get stuff up over here. Now I'm going to sing the Delilah song. I mean, possibly that or the time warp. Burp. Actually, you know what? Let me bring this back until I get some other stuff organized. So, if you are going to be working on a project today, go ahead and throw that in the chat. I also I finished a new story last week. Shakespearean horror. Ooh. It's for an anthology that I only just learned about like a week, 10 days ago. So I didn't have a lot of time to prep for it. But they wanted horror and dark fantasy that was inspired by or set in Shakespearean work. And so I was like, well, this obviously has to be Midsummer Night's Dream, because while that is a comedy, it is also ridiculously creepy, with the potential to be a lot more creepy than what is even in the actual script, in the actual play canon, Shakespearean. Anyway, but yeah, like let's consider. We have love potions, which today we would consider highly problematic. because of issues of consent. And we are transforming people into animals and then forcing them to have romantic interactions. And this, it's a little bit weird and creepy. And anyway, what I have always considered the untold rest of the story in Midsummer Night's Dream, here, Titania, Oberon, and they're like, I have this little, changeling boy. He's technically not really a changeling. He's just adopted. I don't know. Anyway, you have this kid and I want him, says Oberon. And I don't have any reason for wanting him except possibly just that you have him and therefore I want him. So Oberon, work on your own problems. But Titania says, no, like this kid means something to me. I knew his mother. I'm raising the kid and, to take care of him for her sake. And Oberon's like, well, I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is set up a scenario that just, absolutely humiliates you. So you'll be so humiliated, you will forget to fight me about the kid. And then that's how the play goes down. So they never actually resolve, they never talk through the who gets the kid issue or why or whatever. She's just like, oh, that was terrible. Methinks I loved an ass. And, and that ends. So, however, Queen of the Fae is kind of a terrifying entity. And so I've always wanted to know what happens when Titania realizes what went down and wants her revenge. So that was my story. It was a lot of fun because I was working on it on the train, running between London and Edinburgh. So I was working on my Midsummer Night's Dream story while buzzing through the English countryside. So there we go. I know it's not even set in England. It's set in like fake fantasy Athens, but we have the Queen of the Fae and we have extremely English fairies, not Greek. So do with that with what you will. Okay. And that was me telling a story instead of opening my work. So the creating's getting shorter and shorter tonight. All right. I do want to work on the Shard and Shield story, but I'm near the end of that story and I don't really want to work on that on stream because spoilers. So let me see if I can get one that is less spoilerific here. Oh gosh, stop. There we go. Apologize for whatever noise just happened. Got very excited. Okay. All right. So who out there is going to work on something tonight? Anyone? Anyone? I've lost my screen. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. I don't want to spoil people. It is a new story and I don't want to spoil people. So I'm really like, and I understand, like I know of people and I think I know people who write live on stream and they're just working on their story. And I just, that terrifies me. First of all, like I don't even write in coffee houses. So writing live on stream is a big deal, which like I've done that, during charity fundraisers and stuff, and it's like a big deal and it's not something I want to normally do. But also, I would hate that as a viewer. I don't want to see chapter 17 before I see chapter 1. That's just me. So Kate is working on Stir Fry, which is a completely valid thing, and I hope you make enough for everyone, Kate. So, yeah. All right. Okay, let me hang on. And my stuff isn't loading, so give me a minute. Yeah, that's not loading at all. Okay. Now it seems like the kind of thing I could work on when I could clear out my computer's task and reboot it or something, and that sounds less likely during a stream. So, find another way. Hold on. Nope, nope, nope. Don't do it. Don't do it. There we go. Oh my gosh, come on. I apologize, guys. I think I mentioned before that my sound was all completely screwed up when I started, and I had to reboot and do some things, and I just turned a bunch of stuff off that apparently is going to be an issue now, but I can catch up. Very good. Oh no, that's not right. Where's my... Well, that's interesting. Okay, give me a second. Sorry, this is me freaking out because I just opened a file that I worked on last week, and it looks like it did 2 weeks ago. So let me just quietly figure out what happened to my updated copy. Oh, hey, Joe. Joe is working on a song, back and forth to keyboard checking chords. Wow. Like that is a necessary part, but yes. Sarah is compiling game info. Ooh. Gathering tips and hints. Oh, you are that helpful game party member. Yeah. All right. Okay, why? So I worked on this file on the other computer, my portable computer, and maybe it just didn't get a chance to upload completely and sync over there. That's going to be my hope, because this sure is missing over here. And I don't like that at all. Yeah. I'm just going to put that on a table to panic over later. Okay then. All right, so how about I do some, instead of on-screen creative work, I'm going to do a little bit of work along at my desk. And yeah. So one of the things on my to-do list is to send out gifts to my Fay tier and higher patrons. They are going to get these, can I see this here? Yeah, these really pretty Book into Phoenix magnets. I'm really happy with how those turned out. And I have some, they're kind of supposed to be a surprise, so maybe I won't show them here. But I have some stuff sitting over there that I'm going to do some work on, and then tweak and send over there. Send to them. And I'm really kind of sad because I sent stuff, this is my occasional swag tier, which means when I find something cool, I will share it with people, either new things that I'm bringing in from my personal stock, like, you know, the magnets, or something that I just find and think is really fun. And one of the things I found were the shells cut into birds, and so when I released the Upon a Lonely Shore story, which is set on a shore, as you may have guessed. And so I included the little seashell seabirds as that month's swag for my patrons, and some of them came back. So it was funny because they came back marked insufficient postage. I'm like, guys, I sent a bunch of these, like 2 or 3 came back marked insufficient postage, but it's the identical package, so why is it sufficient for half of them, but not these, 2 2 or 3 or whatever. So that was very confusing. But also they returned, return to sender insufficient postage over the address, so I can't tell whose went missing. So hey, I'm going to be posting about this on my Patreon, but if you are one of my patrons and you didn't get a seabird, let me know because I can't tell who didn't get it because they put the return to sender sticker over your name and address. Which is usually I see that like across the side so you can see where it was supposed to go, but not here. They just completely wiped it out. So, yeah, okay. Thanks to Joy. Hashtag. Okay. So let me go and grab that stuff. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to move. I think the microphone is traveling with me, so I'm just going to move around here and get set up for the next thing I move on. Okay. So yeah, so apparently it's about to turn into craft night over here, at least for a short period of time. So let's see if I can find some background music for us. Give me a sec. Oh, definitely enough stir fry for everyone. Thanks, Kate. I'll be looking forward to mine. Oh. Sorry, that is too much music. I'm really sorry. Bring that down. Okay, that's a lot better. Bring that down a little bit more. I may have mentioned my sound was messed up. Anyway, I apologize. Okay. So we're just going to let a little music happen in the background. Please tell me how that level is for you guys, since clearly my mix is not right, I think is the technical term. Not right. You don't hear it at all. Well, that's also an option. That's good though. That means you didn't hear the loud blast when it started. But let's find out. Don't hear any music. Browser. Or barely. You did. Oh, you did hear the loud one. It just means I've turned it down too low. Then tell me how you feel about it. About this time. Okay, so you did hear the loud. So you just heard the loud one only, and then it all went terribly wrong. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see here. Nothing currently. All right. Just tell me if you hear music come back. It's very nice, little kind of backgroundy medieval music ambiance. Maybe. It's starting to become audible. Okay, so I overcorrected for the too loud. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Okay. Oh, I know what I could work on. I could actually do that on screen. Let's see. Works for, Sarah says it works for me. Great. Okay. So we have somewhat audible, not annoying music. And now Photoshop has disappeared from my computer. Honestly, like, what has even happened today? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is a t-shirt I am making for me. It says, "Forward is the pace. I'm still lapping that guy on the couch." So, and apparently my resolution is a little bit fuzzy. At least Sticker Mule thinks so. So, I'm not sure why, but we're going to work on it. Yeah, Sarah says, "Nice, I like that." Right? I am not fast, but I will get there eventually. Kate says she better write so she's not the guy on the couch. Right? Honestly, I had better write too. I'm just going to do it when I'm not on screen so that I can not be spoilerific on screen. Oh, hello, Doberman. Yeah, did somebody let you in? Nope. Please don't help with my graphics, thanks. The stir fry contains my sodium intake for the entire week. I actually dislike really salty stir fries or really salty, food in general, actually, because your stir fry should have a lot of flavor, right? Do you have a low sodium soy sauce? Because I actually find that those taste better. Same with ramen. I like low sodium ramen better. Here I speak of ramen, not cup noodles, which contains ramen noodles, but is not ramen. Really tasty ramen. Anyway, thanks. That's my opinion that absolutely nobody asked for. Oh no, it kind of overboard on the soy sauce. Oh no. They're in my So there's good news. You are not going to have any low blood pressure issues this week. You will not faint from low blood pressure in the next few days. I've apparently lost my file. That's really good, Laura. Honestly, I'm much more organized and together than I appear on stream. I think stream is where everything goes to just be, slightly broken. Did you accidentally break a mirror or walk into a letter, have a black cloud cross your path? I had a black Doberman cross my path, and Dobermans kind of like cats with more teeth and lots more energy. No, but I did shut down a lot of shows, a lot of theater shows recently. So, yeah. But yeah, everything's been a little bit broken since I sat down to work on stuff. Interesting. Well, let's see. Let me just save as, and we're going to save this. I mean, heck, maybe it's saved in the cloud. I don't know. I was experimenting with Photoshop's. Adobe's been really encouraging us to save things in the cloud, and I typically don't do that because I have trust issues. But if I can't find it anywhere on my machine, perhaps it was saved in the cloud. All right, well, anyway, now I'm going to save it as a PNG and upload it. Okay, proof will be ready in about 4 hours. Hooray. All right, well, we got an update on how the stir fry was going. Sarah, do you want to share, and don't share anything you're not comfortable doing, but if you want to tell us what game you're gathering tips for, that could be fun, maybe. And I don't know a darn thing about composing, so Joe, mad props to you, and I hope it goes very well. That is just a phenomenal, like, I do not, my brain does not brain at all in that direction. Oh, Merge Dragons. I get ads for that all the time on my phone. Yes. Merge Dragon addicts. That's great. Yes. Okay. We are approaching on end time anyway. Oh, gathering stats. Oh, you are one of those people, like hyper optimizing your taps for special event times. Yeah, yeah. My husband, who is very gamer, is also a how to optimize person, and yeah, I have. You know, my casual phone games are very, very casual. That's just, you know, I do them to de-stress, not to figure things out. No shade on anybody who does them the other ways. They made me like this after I joined the group. Yes, I understand that. I started doing Pokemon Go. Actually, this is pretty hilarious. Yeah, I've never done anything at all with Pokemon at all. I was, you know, too old for when they crossed over and were targeted at the younger demographic, and so I was familiar with it. Like, I moved in, you know, J culture circles, but just didn't do anything with Pokemon Go. And then late 2019, I was like, okay, we actually should probably have a Pokemon Go Pokestop at our new church location. That would help, you know, make us visible to the community. So I will. I did some quick reading online and got very bad information on how I could start doing Pokemon Go and set up a Pokestop. No, you can't set up a Pokestop till you're level 40, right? Like, that's not what I was told. Anyway, so I joined and I started doing Pokemon Go just for that purpose. Well, somebody else set up a Pokestop in the neighborhood, so yay, that worked out. But I was like, oh, you know, now I'm catching some Pokemon. I have deep ethical problems with the entire Pokemon concept. As a animal behavior and animal welfare person, like, we are essentially pit fighting these creatures that we keep in tiny containers with no enrichment and no health. Anyway, all this. But I was doing it because, you know, I was just trying to, again, get things started. And then 2020 hit, and Pokemon Go was the only reason that I went outdoors. So it was very valuable for that purpose. And there we go. Yep. Sarah says, right, it's probably right for the ethical problems. Yes, I have deep ethical concerns about this, and it's fine. It's fine. We don't do them any harm. We only force them to fight until they faint, not until they die. That's fine. No. But yeah, in 2020 during lockdowns, my husband and I would make a daily outing to get out and spin a Pokestop, and that's what got us outdoors and into sunshine. So it was fine. It served a purpose. There we go. But yeah, that's me. Anyway, I still have like no concept of how to strategize my Pokemon. None whatsoever. Nope, nothing. Yeah, and unlike the guy on the plane behind me yesterday, and again, I have no problem with game. I know tons of gamers, like so many gamers. I am a gamer, just not in that field of gaming. Like gaming is not the issue, but this guy was, yeah, he was very proud of the fact that he's been a championship Pokemon player for 12 years. That was not the problem. The problem was everything else that was going on. He and the guy next to him were. I'll just say that I had on my noise-canceling headphones and was watching an action movie, and I could still hear every word of their conversation. So I know all about their ages, their salaries, their hobbies, and it was definitely, when I was recounting it to my friend when I got off the plane, and he's like, "Oh, so you just knew exactly what his Tinder profile looked like," because he was totally that kind of dude, bro. Anyway, yeah, he's probably really good at strategizing his Pokemon, and I'm not. So bravo, good for him. But yeah, the problem was he and the guy next to him were so very loud, as I said. And the woman next to me turned and very nicely asked them to just lower their voices, not to stop talking, but to just lower their voices slightly. And they said it was a daytime flight, so they could do whatever they wanted because they didn't have to be quiet because it wasn't a nighttime flight. So that went on for the next 9 hours. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's right. Like, you are just exactly that kind of guy. So thanks for making it easy to identify you. Okay, anyway, so good luck with your merge dragons. Go rock all the things on your special event. More power to you. Joe, I hope the song is coming along very well. I know nothing about composing. It intimidates me. You rock. So, okay. And I'm actually going to wrap up so I can go work on I can, 1, find the missing file. That'd be good. And 2, work on the story that I can't work on screen and be very, very spoilerific. So, all right. Well, hey, it was good to be back. Let me actually check what is next. 'Cause tonight was a create-in. So let me check and see what we are. How do calendar? Let's see. Oh, next week's a field trip. I should have saved the Fringe and Tattoo travelogue for next week's field trip. That would have made sense. Yeah, so I don't know what we'll do next week. If anybody, has any special requests, let me know. Yeah, okay. Otherwise, well, next week will be a field trip. So that is it. Sarah says, "Yay, write that story." I know I really need to get it done. It's been on my to-do list forever. I just got partway into it, really liked where it was going, and then decided that the whole concept was dumb and basically chickened out, to be honest. And because they are, it's not just a short story, it's a short story in the Shard of Elan universe, which means stuff that happens in there sets up for anything I do there in the future. So when I make changes, if I need to really, really like them, because I'm going to have to live with them, and I kind of just chickened out, and so I need to just go back and really work on hitting the right emotional beats and make it better. So okay, so Joe is not working on an original but is transcribing, I guess is the right word there, I think. So is that the time of the season of loving? Is it that one that I'm thinking of? Yeah, there's so much bad info on the internet. Ain't that the truth? Full stop. Also about music, but yeah. Okay. So anyway, still more power to you for musical transcription. That is awesome. I'm actually working on I have a character who is a musician and a composer in the novel I'm working on right now. Oh, good. Yeah, I correctly identified the music. Anyway, so theoretically, I should be learning more about how composition works because my character is doing it, and I'm mostly just kind of panicking and avoiding writing it in any detail, which is not the correct way. I actually approached one of my extremely talented musical friends, the kind of person who can hear something and then sit down and play it by ear with like multiple harmonies, in a go, that kind of person. And I'm like, hey, can I ask you a few questions about this, just, when I'm getting ready to finalize it? And he says, no, I don't know enough about that. You'll have to talk to somebody else. I'm like, you don't know enough about it. You don't know enough about it. So, anyway, everybody downplays their own stuff. All right, that is it. I'm getting off so I can work on things. You guys be awesome. Oh, I may tap. Oh, Joe has unwittingly committed himself. No, I will be very polite and respectful of your time, but I might well ask you some music theory questions because I kind of made it plot pivotal. I'm sorry. So this is, yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I get things right. So, okay, you guys all have an amazing, I think you're all in the area where I can say amazing evening. So, yeah, and then I will see you guys probably next week, barring unforeseen things. All right, everybody, take care. Be awesome.